Right, day one of a new series playing away this time. So we're back with Crickbuzz Chatter, and this time we're going all the way to Wellington. We're not sort of standing side by side with each other like we do. But Dooley's in Wellington. I'm here, of course. And Dooley, New Zealand has stuck to that template, isn't it? They, of course, always win the toss when they're playing at home, put the opposition in, get the ball to move, and get into a good first innings position.
Yeah, absolutely, Harsha. Good evening to you. I know it's afternoon in Mumbai at the moment, but yeah, winning the toss, the green surface, it was a very different looking surface, to be honest with you. This one in the Basin Reserves, a lot of brown grass mixed in with the green grass, but it was quite long and it was a little bit damp underneath. So winning the toss, bowling first and picking up early wickets, that's been the key for New Zealand in test matches gone by, and it continued today.
Bit of a problem early on. I've always maintained that when India travel overseas, it's the new ball that matters, whether you're playing it or you're bowling it. And bit of a lesson for Prithvi Shaw. And do you think a little familiar problem surfacing again for Virat Kohli?
Yeah, it's something that I think, I look at Prithvi Shaw, I look at Mayank Agarwal. Kohli has obviously struggled a little bit in the last probably, 18, 19 innings at international level. Hasn't picked up 100, I think you've mentioned that. So to me, just that the technique around Prithvi Shaw in particular and Mayank Agarwal, to me they both cut across the ball. They don't have big foot movement, which is a bit of an issue, and they also go quite hard at the ball through the covers, so they give themselves a little bit of room leg side and look to open up that offside, and that's one of the issues that's going to trouble them, not only with the ball swinging away, but the ball that nips back in as well. So in these sorts of conditions, it is about survival, but it's also about getting to the other end, taking ones and getting off strike as much as you can.
Yeah, I know. The only problem with getting off strike is you put someone else in strike, and I'm not sure, but he's trying to get off strike too, so which is fantastic. I thought once again overseas conditions, Ajinkya Rahane batted well. I thought he left well. He made a very interesting point yesterday at the press conference about how the wind affects you and how if your bat is into the wind or if you're batting with the wind behind you. But he seemed to me the most disciplined of all the batsmen. He had a bit of luck early on, but seemed the most disciplined.
Yeah, I talked about it in commentary too, Harsha. The simple fact that Ajinkya Rahane is now in excess of 47 away from home, and 39, I think, his average at home. So he's a better performer away from Indian conditions. And I just think that comes down to his mental toughness as well, as much as anything. Yes, he has ability. Yes, he's a fine player. But mentally, I think he's a very, very strong character and a strong individual. He leaves the ball well. He plays the ball nice and late. And I think those are keys to playing in these sorts of conditions. So, yeah, very, very good innings from Ajinkya again. He holds the key tomorrow morning.
It's interesting to get your thoughts on the keeper in New Zealand conditions, because my take's always been that you pick the 5 best batsmen, the 4 best bowlers, the best keeper, and then maybe with number 6 or 7, depending on when the keeper bats, you can look for a second skill. But India have gone with the batsman-keeper rather than the keeper-batsman in Saha. I thought it was a bit hard on Saha, but you know the conditions there better. What did you make of that?
Yeah, it was an interesting decision. We all probably thought they would go with Wriddhiman Saha. I can understand why, though. When I look at Rishabh Pant and obviously his short career, 200s, 250s for him, the attacking nature, which sometimes in these sorts of conditions, a score of 230, 240 in the first innings can be quite crucial. So if you're in trouble early, I think Rishabh Pant is one of those guys that possibly tomorrow might make a bit more of, a bit more of the surface and maybe be a little bit more attacking. So, and the other thing is it doesn't turn. The ball very rarely turns, so spinners don't play a huge role. So I think you can go with more of the batsman keeper in these conditions. In subcontinent conditions, when you're playing 2 spinners and you need the best keeper, then Saha's in my team the whole time. So I actually don't mind this selection.
Yeah, I hope he goes well, though. He started all right. He started with he's playing with a fair bit of discipline. So I hope he goes well, gets those runs. But he's up against a really good bowling side. And what do you say about the depth of this New Zealand fast bowling lineup? I mean, Trent Boult is coming back. He's a little undercooked. Lockie Ferguson isn't around. Suddenly you discover that Neil Wagner has probably been the best over the last 12, 18 months. And there comes this 6'8" giant. How good was Jameson today? I remember saying when we were watching the limited overs games that Indians struggle with bounce sometimes, and from a length he'll get the bounce, and he bowled beautifully today.
Yeah, you're looking for a point of difference, aren't you? And if you can't find a 145, 150k bowler, you're looking for a point of difference. New Zealand haven't quite had that since the injuries to Adam Milne, obviously Lockie Ferguson, just that one short stint in Test match cricket in Perth before he got injured. So New Zealand haven't had that real point of difference. This guy does offer that in spades, and he's not quick. He's 130, early 130s at best. But that awkward bounce, we saw plenty of occasions of that today on day number one. He shows to me, Harsha, quite a maturity around how he approaches his game. He was not overawed by his international one-day debut. He certainly wasn't overawed by anything today. And he's a player that New Zealand now will have a few headaches and a little bit of scratching the head as far as moving forward to Christchurch is concerned, because Neil Wagner's back. I think he's been New Zealand's best bowler. He bolts back into the team. Who do they leave out? Do they leave Tim Southee out? Do they leave Ajaz Patel out and go in without a spinner? There's some questions to be asked, I think, by the time we get to Christchurch.
What about the breeze, Julian? I know I'm talking to someone who ran into the breeze and bowled that great spell against India. It was right here, wasn't it, at the Basin Reserve when you bowled the spell of your life against us?
Yeah, it was. But that day, Harsha, it was a breeze. It was a gentle breeze. Today we've had wind. We've had genuine wind. And tomorrow we're expecting even more of it. So it's going to be really tough. And you go back to Ajinkya Rahani's point, what he said in the press conference yesterday. It is not easy batting in these sorts of conditions. It's not easy bowling in these sorts of conditions. At the end of the day, you feel like you've been beaten up as a fielder, as a bowler, as a batsman as well. Calling between the wickets, calling to your mate at the other end when he's so far away or downwind, it's not easy hearing those calls. Running quick singles. If you're running downwind, it's okay. If you're running into the wind, it's not so easy to make yourself or make your ground. So there's all those little things that come into it, but someone has to want to do the tough job, the tough overs with the ball, and someone has to want to bat through those tough times as well. Ajinkya Rahani's doing it at the moment. New Zealand have shared around the bowling into the breeze, and for the most part today I thought they did a terrific job of it.
I know, apparently 100 kilometers an hour tomorrow. Someone like Chahal would have bowled from a yard behind the stumps and just got there with the wind behind him. But somehow in New Zealand, when you're batting first, you scrape your way to 220, 230, and you're in the game, aren't you? Because as you yourself said, it gets easier batting. So what are you looking ahead to for day two?
Yeah, I think so. 220, 230, you are well and truly in the game. India, we know how good their seam attack is. We know how good Ishant Sharma's been. Bumrah, obviously, coming along very, very nicely in all levels of cricket. And I'm always impressed with Mohammad Shami. If he gets it right on this particular pitch, it'll get a little bit quicker tomorrow, but the grass will still be there. It'll still seam around a little bit as well. And I just think it'll do things a little bit quicker, and that will assist the Indian bowlers. So scrap their way through to that 220, 230 mark. If Rishabh Pant has a day out tomorrow, maybe a session, if Rishabh Pant could take it to 280, 290, and that will be more than enough in the first innings. It all comes down to a second innings contest generally in these sorts of conditions.
Well, I'm hoping Pant gets runs, even if it means that the selectors are right and I was wrong in my thinking. But watch out for the wind tomorrow. Unidentified flying objects, could be the covers flying away. Scott Styris was saying that if the wind exceeds a certain speed, you can't actually take the covers off because it might take the people away with them. So strange, Wellington, but Dooley, good chatting with you on Crickbuzz Chatter. Look forward to chatting with you again at the end of day two.
Thanks very much, Harsha. It's not too windy today, so I'll blow off now.